Hello, my name is Jim. Welcome to my Booktube channel about books and reading and stuff. I guess I'm a bit late to the party, but this will be my September TBR. I know September has already begun, and I've already read one book from my TBR. I read Cry of the Innocent by Julie Bates. This is a historical novel set in 1774 Williamsburg in Virginia. The rumbles of revolution are already rumbling, and our protagonist is Faith, who's the innkeeper, and in one of her rooms, one of her patrons has been murdered, and the murder victim is not a very popular person, so many people may have murdered him, but it's important for Faith to discover who actually murdered him, because she and her two slaves, Titus and Olivia, are prime suspects. I have 10 books on my TBR list, 5 are ebooks, 5 are physical books. I'll start with the ebooks. I've already mentioned Cry of the Innocent. The second on the list is Dutch Coffee Shop by Scully. Scully is a booktuber cum author tuber. I don't know a lot about this. It's set in the coffee shops of the Netherlands, particularly Amsterdam. These coffee shops sell cannabis, so it'll be interesting. Third on the list is Out Front Following the Sea by Leah Angstman. Margaret Pinard has suggested we buddy read this. This will be interesting. I'm open to this. I haven't buddy read anything with anyone yet. It's a historical fiction set in the late 17th century on the east coast of America, in the colonies. Then there's The 100,000 Kingdoms by N.K. Jemisin. N.K. Jemisin has been on my radar for a while, and when I saw this was under $3 on Amazon, I snapped it up. This is her first book, I believe. She writes science fiction, but she writes science fiction with a different perspective, being of an African American background. Fifth, we have The Shadow People by Graham Masterton. This is an e-arc I've got from NetGalley. Graham Masterton is a horror writer. This combines horror with police procedural. The Shadow People are this secretive group in South London that they're a cannibal sect, and it's about the police investigating into this cannibal sect. And with Graham Masterton, I'm sure parts of it will be very gruesome. That was the e-books. Now I want to look at the physical books on my TBR. First I've got here is Genghis Khan by Jack Weatherford. I picked this up yesterday at the Tbilisi book swap. I hope for the P-tag to talk about Genghis Khan. I watched a documentary about Genghis Khan. Then I couldn't remember what P prompt I had for Genghis Khan. It was P as for Patton, who you consider the greatest military leader of all time. Genghis Khan was very influential on world history, and he had the largest contiguous empire the world has ever known, and I want to know more about this character. Another one I picked up at Tbilisi book swap is The Good Thief's Guide to Venice. I don't know anything about this. It's by Ewan. I just liked the cover, and if I don't like it, I'll take it back to the next book swap. Then I have this, The Vanishing Half by Bennett. I've seen this a lot on Booktube. I've borrowed this copy from Emma at BookSwap yesterday. I've seen there's a few books about passing, about African Americans passing as white. This is one, there's another one called Passing, and there's another one, The Personal Librarian, about J.P. Morgan's personal librarian who is African American but passing as white, based on a true story. It's an interesting subject and I want to know more about it, which is why I asked Emma if When I was doing the P-tag, I saw I had lots of books about painting, And most of these books I've just looked at the pictures. They are beautiful pictures. These are the Passion series. But now I want to read the text because they also have writing, plenty of writing. So I chose to read this one first. This is Renoir by Peter H. Feist. I don't know if it's any relation to Raymond Feist, who Kit likes. I've read a biography of Renoir before, written by his son, Jean Renoir, the filmmaker. Renoir is my favourite painter, and it'll be interesting to read this. Renoir was one of the most prolific painters ever. He painted over 6,000 paintings. I think only Picasso was more prolific of the famous painters. And finally, I got Billy Connolly, Tall Tales and Wee Stories. Billy Connolly is a very funny comedian. This is a book of his tales that he often told on stage in his comedy sets. I've read about half of it. I don't think it works very well. The best way to understand stand-up comedy is to go to a comedy gig. Because it's not just what is told, it's not just the stories, it's how it's told and how the audience reacts. If you're reading a book, if you're like me, you don't often laugh out loud. LOL is not something I do usually when I'm reading a book. But if I go to a comedy club, then I'm laughing out loud a lot because laughter is very infectious. We're very social animals. Yeah, the best way to experience comedy, in my opinion, is to go to a comedy club. And probably quite a small comedy club, 200 to 300 people, not a great arena, because there's a more personal connection with the comedian. I even had a go myself. I'll link to my stand-up video here. Okay, that was my TBR for September. If you've read any of these books or if you have any questions, please leave comments in the box below, and I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye.